Good morning, everyone. My name is Marinos Portokalidis, and I am a scientific officer at the Research and Innovation Foundation. I would like to welcome you on behalf of the foundation to this webinar, which aims to provide to interested parties guidance and information regarding the basic principles and conditions for participation in the pre-seed call. The webinar will be held in English since we have some non-Greek speaking participants today. It will be recorded, and both the video and the presentations will be uploaded to the Research and Innovation Foundation website following the completion of the webinar. Just to mention that we received a lot of questions prior to the webinar during your registration. During my presentation, I will try to respond to a large extent to all these questions that have already been submitted. But kindly note that the frequently asked questions document that is uploaded in our website will be updated with the answers to the questions already received by the foundation. So within the next few days, please note that you may find answers in writing to all the questions that have been previously submitted in advance. So let me share my presentation. Well, as mentioned, today we will present the basic principles, the conditions for participation, and the processes regarding proposal submission and proposal evaluation in order to provide useful information and guidance to interested parties. Let's start with the objectives of this program. The program aims to support the creation and the initial development of innovative startups which are established in order to develop innovative products which have global market penetration prospects. This program targets primarily startups which are still in the early stage of developing their business idea and their product or service development. Please note that startups that have already been active for a quite of time and have and are more technologically ready, meaning that they have already developed their prototype or they have already developed their minimum viable product, have the opportunity to participate in another program offered by the Research and Innovation Foundation, which is the SEED program, which supports startups that are more technologically mature. So I will repeat that this specific program covers only startups that are still in the early stage of their product or service development. Of course, all of our innovation programs refer to companies that have products or services or will develop products and services with which are innovate and can differentiate in comparison to existing solutions and can address certain needs or to improve the experience and quality of the life of the users. The companies, the startups, should be consisted by team members which have the appropriate and complementary technical, scientific, managerial, and business skills and knowledge, and demonstrate their commitment to the operation and the development of this company. Let me refer that not every new company, every newly established company is a startup, but for the purposes of this program and in general for the programs covered by the Research Innovation Foundation, startups are considered companies which have a technological orientation and the potential for high growth. And these companies are established, as I mentioned, in order to develop an innovative product service that could be made available to the international market. Just to mention before I proceed with the condition that this program addresses all companies that are startups, as I mentioned in the first slide, from more scientific, market, or technical areas. So there are not any specific thematic restrictions for this program. And we have funded programs from the IT industry, from the medical industry, pharmaceuticals, and so on. So you can watch the video later, and in our website, you may find information, detailed information about all projects that have been funded through the program. As I mentioned before, it is very encouraging that some of our startups have already achieved significant results and have managed to attract additional private investments. So regarding the present call, the call was announced on 1st August 2024, and the submission deadline is set for the 1st of November at 1 o'clock local time. The valuation is expected to take place between November after the deadline and April 2025. Following the completion of the evaluation procedure, successful applicants will be invited to the contract preparation phase, and the contracts with the RIF will be signed around June 2025. And the call budget available is 1.2 million euros, and the maximum funding per project is 119.999 thousand euros. The funding is awarded in installments. Successful proposals receive a pre-financing which amounts up to 70% of the total requested funding, and the pre-financing is paid upon the contract signing, and the final payment refers to the rest of the amount corresponding to the eligible expenses and is paid upon the approval of the final progress report following the end of the project. The RIF do not provide funding to cover the full project cost, but there is a funding percentage on eligible expenses, which is 85% over the project budget. That means that successful proposals will have to provide, successful companies will have to provide an additional 50% to cover the rest of the total cost. The project's duration is can be up to 18 months. It could be less. It depends on the team to decide. So let us go in more detail into the conditions for participation. The host organization, as I mentioned, should be a startup company. Basically, in the RIF, we fund organizations and not individual. So individual wishing to submit a proposal should register an organization first in the RIF's electronic proposal submission and project management portal. For the purposes of this program only, proposals can be submitted by a group of natural persons. However, the registration of the company should be completed until the contract signing. So we received a lot of questions about this issue, and I wanted to clarify this in order to for people to understand. Those people that have not register their company yet have to register an organization in the portal under the status enterprise under establishment in order to be able to submit their proposal through this company. And if successful, they should register, they should officially register the company in the company's register before the contract signing. According to our rules, a startup is considered any small enterprise which is not listed in the stock exchange up to 5 years after its registration, which has not taken over the activity of another enterprise, has still not distributed profits, and has not been incorporated through a merger. Regarding startup companies which are considered as corporate spin-offs that are established and are taking over part of activities of another enterprise, these companies may participate in another innovation program offered by the RIF, which is the Innovate program, which covers existing companies. Each team, each startup may add a partner organization in the project in order to get technical support to tackle some issues for which the project team do not have the appropriate, let's say, skill or technical knowledge. The participation of partner organizations is not mandatory, so that means a company may implement the project by itself, or if needed, may invite other organizations such as research organizations, other enterprises, or other private organizations in order to cooperate and receive technical support for issues, as I mentioned, that need some additional expertise. The participating organizations are only allowed to implement experimental development activities, which means that they can assist the host organization, the startup company, in the development of its prototype, test cases, pilots, and so on. All of the organization, both the startups, the host organization, and the participating on the partner organizations, should be legally established and active, or in the case of the startup, will be established and active in the territories under the control of the Republic of Cyprus. The activity of these entities is documented by the existence of facilities, equipment, and indicatively audited financial statements in the control of the Republic of Cyprus. And in the case of the startups, the activity will be confirmed during the implementation of the project. So additional conditions for participation. Each enterprise, each startup may receive funding as host organization only in one project in the frame of this call for proposals. Those startups that were funded by the RIF as host organizations in the frame of previous pre-seed calls or seed calls cannot participate in the present call. In the case of startups which exploit research results of third parties, this is mainly the case where we have some teams coming from research institutes. So in the case of these companies, within 2 months from the contract signing, at the late sales, these companies should ensure the licensing of intellectual property rights. So each company assigns the role of the project coordinator to one person of the team. The project coordinator will be responsible for the submission of the proposal and the project management, and is the person that communicates with the Research and Innovation Foundation. This person should be employed by the host organization starting from the project start date and throughout the project implementation period. It is possible for companies to participate with one person only. However, since it is a part of the evaluation, we expect founding teams that, as I mentioned, have the complementary and appropriate skills, both technical and business managerial, in order to efficiently implement the project. All other individuals participating in the project should be employed by the startups, by the participating organizations during their participation in the project. We have received a lot of questions in advance regarding people that work as associates or as subcontractors or work from abroad. So in order for their personnel expenses to be eligible, all participating personnel should be formally employed by the participating organization. And by employment, we mean that the employee and the employer relationship should fulfill the conditions you can see at the end of the slide. So the employee-employer relationship should be proven. So maybe through an employment contract. The employee should be included in the organization's official payroll on a regular basis. And all the employer's obligations regarding the present laws should be fulfilled. For example, the payments to social securities. So all other individuals may participate as subcontractors, or other organizations may participate as partner organizations. In order to ensure the proper implementation of the projects, and in order to support, to further support the teams and enhance their possibilities to succeed, during the project implementation, prior and during the project implementation, the RIF will provide a set of trainings addressed to the company's employees. So prior to the contract signing, at least one person from the project team should attend to specific seminars organized by the RIF in the subjects of regulations and financial monitoring of the project and project management. Furthermore, during the project implementation, the project coordinator should obligatorily attend 2 training seminars in new product development and entrepreneurial finance. These are conditions for participation, and every successful company should comply. Further to these trainings and further to the funding provided, the RIF provides other guidance and support to beneficiaries, such as the opportunity to participate in networking events with other innovative companies, investors, and so on, partnering activities trying to identify clients or investors, opportunity to participate in company missions abroad, in established startup events abroad, other trainings in other useful issues for the startups, such as IPR management, innovation management, sales, and so on. And these activities are mainly covered by a project that the RIF participates in, which is the Enterprise Europe Network project. which funds the establishment of a center here in Cyprus, which provide business support services to companies. So successful applicants will have the opportunity to benefit from these additional services following their contract signing and during their project implementation. As I mentioned, all these activities are over and above the funding and aim to further enhance the possibilities of the startups to succeed. Another condition for participation, only in the projects which fall under the ICT and manufacturing sectors, is the inclusion of a project service wireframe together with the proposal as annex, which is basically a visual guide of the user interface or the web page regarding the product or the service. This wireframe basically helps the company to communicate its ideas and plan the user experience. Again, this is for the companies that fall within the ICT and manufacturing sectors or include the development of digital applications and software. Because we received a lot of questions about this annex, kindly note that it's up to the applicants to form this guide, and there is not any specific template. So what is covered by this program? What is expected to be implemented by the startups during their project implementation? So as we mentioned, the startups that can apply to this program are still in their early stage of their product development. So through this program, they can implement activities that relate to their prototype development, the conduction of a market research, their identification of their appropriate business model and the business plan. They may obtain, validate, or defend patents and other intangible assets. They can obtain consulting, legal, or accounting services. These services are described in detail in the call for proposals. They can proceed with the marketing branding activities, or they can proceed with the identification of potential partners, clients, and investors. All these activities are indicative, but mainly the program covers the personnel costs of the founding teams in order to basically develop their prototype, verify their business model, and start with the preliminary commercialization activities. As I mentioned before, when I was referring to the partner organizations, these organizations can only implement experimental research. So they can assist the company with technical expertise during their prototype development. So what are the eligible costs? In general, the eligible costs allowed by the Recent Innovation Foundation rules is the personnel cost, the cost for instruments and equipment, the cost for external services, cost for traveling abroad for activities relating to the project implementation, consumables, and other specific costs, and overheads, which are indirect costs related to the project implementation. For the purposes of this program and for simplification reasons, the calculation of the proposal budget will be based on the simplified cost method, which is refers to the personnel cost of the team, plus an additional 40% on the personnel cost to cover the rest of the project cost. So I will specifically refer in the next slides that basically the companies when they draft their budget, should only provide their personnel cost. They should not justify the other costs that will be included under the 40% percentage. However, all the additional costs, despite the fact that there will not be requested any documentation about the cost, should fulfill the RIF's conditions, which are the following. So regarding the cost category, instruments and equipment, this category covers instruments and specialized equipment, as well as computers and software, which are requested in order to for the implementation of the project. Kindly note that basic office equipment, furniture, and so on is not eligible. Regarding the external services that could be acquired, this could be services relating to the conduction of a market research, could be technical consulting services and training relating to the prototype development, including testing, certification, quality labeling, access to infrastructures, and so on. As I mentioned, specific individuals which are associates and not employees may participate under this under subcontractors to provide consulting services. Advisory services such as assistance and training relating to the use of standards and regulations is also eligible. Purchase of patents and licensing patent rights from external sources is also eligible. Again, you can cover design and preparation of communication material, such as publications, audiovisual material, graphic design services, logo designs, and so on. And other consulting and legal services relating to payroll, tax issues, office automation, and employees stock ownership plan, shareholders agreement, bank transactions, and so on. For the partner organizations, if applicable, again, the calculation of the proposal budget should be based on the simplified cost method, personnel cost plus 40% for the rest of the cost. And as I mentioned, their activities should be limited to experimental development activities. An important condition is that the total cost of the partner organization should not exceed 20% of the total project budget. That means that their contribution should be limited to the 20% of the total project cost. As I previously mentioned, despite the fact that only the personnel cost should be declared in the proposal, beneficiaries should still comply with the eligibility conditions for the cost and the basic principles of project management, the preservation of proofs and evidence, as mentioned in our rules for participation, which is included in the Restart Programs Work Program and the call for proposals. So this is a screenshot of the proposal submission system, in the more specifically the budget table. So as I mentioned, you will only have to provide the personnel costs for the teams to be involved, and the additional 40% should be included under the category overheads. These used to be covered by the other simplified cost category, but for technical reasons of the electronic system, for the purposes of this call, applicants should use the overheads budget category to include the rest of the project cost. So once again, participants should provide their personnel expenses plus additional 40% for the rest of the project costs. in the cases where the RIF funds specific project, irrespectively of the call for proposals, and according to other programs as well, the beneficiaries are automatically become beneficiaries of the services and tool in knowledge transfer, which is offered by the Central Knowledge Transfer Office. So all beneficiaries are obliged to contact the Knowledge Transfer Office within 2 months after the contract signing date in order to prepare a specialized service delivery plan in issues relating to knowledge transfer. And basically, these cover the acquisition, validation, and protection of patents, consulting services for technology transfer, consulting services for the preparation of feasibility studies, business plan, and so on. So all of the activities that will be, and the services that will be offered by the central knowledge transfer should not be included in the proposal. The proposals are submitted through our electronic portal. All organizations, as I mentioned, should be previously registered in the portal before applying in order to be able to apply. I will repeat that this includes the companies under establishment. So even if your company is not officially registered, you have to register an organization under establishment in our system in order to submit a proposal. And as I mentioned, the proposal is submitted by the project coordinator on behalf of the company. And that means that the project coordinator, the individual, should also register in advance in the IRIS portal. So the call and all related documents is available in the IRIS portal. You can see the link in the slide where you can find all relevant documentation and start the submission of your proposal. The proposal consists of the Part A, which is the general information about the proposal and the budget table. And this is filled in electronically in specific fields through the IRIS portal. It includes the application document, which is the Part B. It's a document that is available in Word. Applicants should fill in the document according to the guide provided in the document, and should upload it as annex in the portal together with the Part A. There is a page limit for this document. The maximum number of pages are 20, excluding the cover page, the guidelines, and so on. And all additional pages further to the page limit will be disregarded by the evaluators. Further to the application form, the applicants should submit the CVs of the coordinator and the key personnel participating in the project team. The reason that this submission is mandatory is because one part of the evaluation is about the team and its capabilities, skills, and so on in order to implement the project. It is recommended that these CVs are created according to the Europass format and do not exceed 5 pages per person. As I mentioned, for companies that fall within the ICT manufacturing sector or include digital applications, these companies should also submit the product service wireframe. This is a snapshot of the Part B, the application document. As I mentioned, there are detailed guides and a checklist in the proposal submission, proposal application document. Please go through the guidelines and respond to all questions before submitting the proposal. Regarding the evaluation, for the evaluation and the selection of the successful projects, we use a two-stage evaluation in order to optimize our procedure and select the most appropriate startups and ideas that could potentially be able to penetrate into the international market. At the first stage, a remote evaluation by two independent evaluators, which are experts in the proposal topic, is taking place. The evaluation criteria are excellence, added value and benefit, and implementation with different weights, as you can see in the slide. There is a detailed description of the criteria and sub-criteria in the call for proposals. And further to the call for proposals, what is useful for applicants is to go through the guide for evaluators, which is the guidance document that we provide to the evaluators for the purposes of the evaluation implementation. Kindly note that all evaluators should sign a conflict of interest form in advance and a confidentiality statement. So this is a common practice by all national funding bodies, both in Cyprus and abroad. So following the evaluation by the two independent evaluators, the best rank applications, according to their final evaluation score, starting with the highest scoring proposals and in descending order, until the double of the available call budget, and provided that they have received a score over the threshold, which is 12/15, they are qualifying to the stage 2 of the evaluation. In order to encourage the participation of women as project coordinators, priority will be given to the first 5 ranked proposals with women project coordinators. All evaluators, before proceeding with technical evaluation of the proposal according to the criteria, will check the compatibility of the proposal with the objectives of the program and the call, the proposed type of activities which are allowed by the call, and the compatibility with the do no significant harm principle, meaning that the proposed methodology should not include or support activities that could cause significant harm to the environment. If the proposal is incompatible with the above, the evaluator rejects the proposal and does not proceed with the examination of the evaluation criteria. Let me just also mention that if the difference of the scores of the two evaluators is more than 3 points, then the RIF requests the evaluation of the proposal from a third evaluator, and the final average score is the score of the two evaluations that are closest to each other. So those proposals that will proceed in the stage 2 will be asked to present the content of their proposals to an independent evaluation committee, which is consistent by 5 to 7 members which have business background. These people could be either entrepreneurs or investors or business angels and so on. And the pool to identify these experts is mainly the pool of evaluators of the Commission's established program, the European Innovation Council Accelerator Program. Basically, in the stage 2, companies should pitch their idea to the committee, should discuss the content of their proposal with committee members, and provide additional clarifications to the committee. So the same evaluation criteria apply for stage 2. There is not a scoring in phase 2, and the decision for funding depends on the decision of the committee. And all the proposals that will be deemed eligible for funding by the committee will be selected for funding. And according to the available call budget, of course. So as I mentioned, we will, it is expected that we will fund around 10 projects in the frame of this call. I will repeat what I mentioned earlier. All applicants are strongly advised to read thoroughly the guide for evaluators. Other useful documents is the Restart program's work program document, which includes all of the RIF's funding conditions and participation rules. The call for proposal document, which is the call for proposal, which includes the objectives, the eligible activities, costs, and so on, and other conditions for participation in the specific call. The Part B, the technical annex, which is the application form, the guide for evaluators, the FAQ document, and so on. And all these are available in the IRIS portal. And also there are some guidelines available, again, in the IRIS portal regarding the registration of individuals and organizations. Applicants are advised to register early enough and do not wait for the last minute in order to be able to have enough time to prepare their proposal and submit it on time. So as I mentioned at the start, we received a lot of questions in advance. I tried to respond to the majority of the question during the presentation. So I hope that you have been able to receive clarifications for the questions that you have already submitted. As I already mentioned, the FAQ document will be updated to cover all these questions that were submitted during your registration. But you have also may use the Q&A session in order to submit any additional questions right now. So there is a question about the legal framework of the company. So the company should be either a legal person. This includes individuals that are engaging in economic activity. So these people are considered as companies for our purposes. So regarding the links that could be included in the proposal, you may include some references in the proposal. However, evaluators are not obliged to go through specific links leading to additional information. You may provide some screenshots if you want. And it depends of the evaluator if they want to go through additional information found online. Yes, companies that have not been registered yet may participate under the status of enterprise under establishment, and they can register their organization before contract signing. Regarding the eligibility of costs, the program covers the personnel expenses for team members employed by the company as described. And the other 40% can be used by the company to cover additional expenses, which should comply, as I mentioned, with the eligibility conditions of the RIF. The prototype development does not necessarily include opening up a space or an office. However, as I mentioned in the start, each participating organization funded by the RIF should operate in the territories that are covered by the Republic of Cyprus, under the control of the Republic of Cyprus. So this means that they have at least one space where they have their equipment, they perform the work and so on. This could be, let's say, a shared space, or let's say a space in an incubator. But participants should demonstrate that they are active during the project preparation, the project implementation. It is not expected to have some clients prior to your presentation in the committee. As mentioned, the companies that we fund are companies that are still in their early stages of their prototype development, of their product or service development. What you have to demonstrate is you have to demonstrate that you can address a specific need. So there is a specific need for the proposed product and service. That means you have to do your homework in advance in order to identify the potential market segments, and so on, and justify to the evaluators that there is a prospect for market penetration for this specific innovative product and service. The project coordinator should be employed, as I mentioned, from the start of the project and for the whole duration of the project. It depends on the company and the employee to define their relationship status, if it is full-time or part-time. There is a question about the simplified cost method, personnel cost plus 40% of additional expenses. So I will repeat that during the drafting of your budget, you have to calculate and provide the estimated personnel cost for the team members to be included in the project implementation. There are some, in order to calculate the personnel cost, you have to take into account the unit cost depending on the type of the person, which are included in our work program. Each person that has a PhD is entitled of 26 euros per hour. Each person which have a postgraduate degree and more than 5 years experience following his or her graduation is entitled of 23 euros per hour, and university or postgraduate holders with less than 5 years since our degree acquisition are entitled with for 20 euros per hour. So according to this unit cost, each company should estimate the hours that are needed by each person to implement the proposed project plan. And according to these hours, this should be multiplied by the appropriate unit cost allowed by the RIF in order to calculate the final amount for the personnel cost. Over this amount, each company is entitled of 40% to cover additional expenses. As I mentioned, we will not request any clarifications or proofs regarding the additional expenses. However, applicants should comply with the eligibility conditions as I mentioned in the proposal. I hope it is clarified. If not, please send us any specific additional questions in our support service. Regarding the potential, let's say, customer, if the customer is the government, I cannot say if it is considered a weakness or an advantage of the business plan. What I mentioned is that you have to demonstrate that there is a need for this proposed new innovative product or service, and that you will be able to scale up into an international level. Yes, as mentioned, you may use the 40% to cover other expenses, including, let's say, accounting and bookkeeping services for the new startup company. There is not a specific template or guide regarding the form of the business plan, but as I mentioned, the application form includes guidance and specific questions which you are requested to address when proposing your plan. So basically, the application form is a combination of a technical implementation plan and a business plan. Please go through the template. There's a question about the potential participation in the seed program if a company is rejected in the pre-seed. There is no restriction, and actually it is highly desirable for companies to proceed according to their evolution into other programs that cover more advanced or more technologically advanced solutions. So we already had some companies that have received pre-seed funding in the past, and they were able at the end to attract seed funding through the seed program. So there is not any specific restriction. The only restriction is that is for companies that have already been funded by the seed or pre-seed programs in the past. Those companies cannot participate in the present call. I have responded to the relation between the seed and the pre-seed program. Yes, as I mentioned, both the recording and the presentations will be available in our web page. Yes, the cost for office equipment, space, rent, and so on is not eligible. Actually, this could be covered by the overheads, and yes, these are considered indirect expenses. We do not need justification over about overheads. So regarding the breakdown of the employee hours, it's up to the company to draft their initial implementation plan, break it into specific work packages, such as project management, let's say user requirements, prototype development, marketing, branding, and so on. And you have to realistically assign specific hours that are needed to implement your plan. And depending on the hours that are estimated for each person, you have to use their unit cost in order to calculate the personnel cost. Let me mention here something that I did not mention before. These unit costs are set by the RIF and should be obligatorily used by the applicants in respectively of the real amount that is paid for the specific person. That means that if there is a person that has a PhD and is entitled of 26 euros per hour, after the evaluation of the funding payment and the identification of the eligible cost, the RIF will provide funding according to this rate and not the actual rate that was paid by the company, even if it is less or even if it is more than the RIF's unit cost. Regarding the award, the funding award, as I mentioned, 70% will be awarded as pre-financing upon the start, the signing of the contract and the start date of the project, and the rest amount will be covered after the evaluation and check of the eligible expenses of the company, which should be submitted together with the funding payment. So we'll be able to provide our justification regarding the personnel cost. So there is a question regarding the technical aspects and the business aspects of the proposals. In your proposal, you have to be able to provide to cover both of these aspects. As I mentioned in the first stage of evaluation, evaluators have a technical expertise in the proposal topic, while the stage 2 evaluators may have more business background. So you have to be able to provide both technical aspects and the business opportunity. Regarding the registration of the companies, as I mentioned, all participants should be registered in the territories controlled by the Republic of Cyprus. We do not cover the expenses for participants that are established in other European countries. But there are not any specific limits regarding the origin of the people participating. Foreigners may participate at the project as personnel, provided that the employer's relationship is proven as described in the presentation. Regarding the evaluation criteria, you can find a detailed description in the call for proposals. So all unit costs are available in the Word program document. There is a table with all unit costs and all the specific individual categories. So there are a lot of questions regarding the use of the 40%. As I mentioned, the RIF will only examine and request proofs for the personnel cost. We will not request proofs for the other expenses. However, you have to comply with the eligibility conditions. This is something I repeated, but I will keep receiving questions about this. I don't know if it is not clear. Please go through the call for proposals document and where is described in detail. And if you have any additional questions, please come again through our research RIF support service. So we have a question about a private home to be served as an office premise. It could be, however, you have to demonstrate that your company is established and operates. So that means even if you are working from home, that you have a dedicated space where you implement your activities. So if the prototype development, let's say, needs specific equipment in order to be implemented, you have to have this equipment. So you have to have basically a space where your company is officially established. And according to the Register of Companies conditions, each company has an official address and a dedicated space. Regarding the project coordinator should be employed from the start date and until the end of the project. There are not any specific requirements or provisions regarding the medical doctor degree. As I mentioned, the unit costs were calculated according to historical data and apply irrespectively of the real amount that is paid to the employee. So in order to request funding, you have to demonstrate that there is personnel working at the organization. Otherwise, you won't be able to generate a budget. The project can be less than 18 months. There are projects that have a duration of 12 or 15 months. It depends on the idea and the project service. The same conditions that apply for the pre-seed program apply for the seed program as well regarding the status of the company. The main difference is the technological maturity of the company. The seed program will be announced within the first semester of 2025. There is a question about the maximum hours per month that an employee can work on the project. According to our work program and our general conditions, the amount of yearly hours, this is the productive hours of a company, is 1,720 hours per year. So in order to calculate the monthly hours, you have to divide this amount by 12 months. And if I'm not mistaken, it's around 143 hours per month. These are the maximum productive hours covered by the RIF. And an amount over this is considered overtime, which is not covered by the RIF. Regarding the valuation, this will take place between November, which is the deadline, and April. The second stage is expected to take place around March to April, and the contracts will be signed around June. So those companies that have not already registered in the register of companies should register before the contract signing, before June, basically. The start date is the start date of the project implementation. Every personnel, including the project coordinator, should have an employer relationship and getting paid by the company as described in the presentation. Regarding the next round on pre-seed, generally we have one pre-seed call per year. So we are in the process of the designing of our new framework program for the future. Most probably pre-seed calls will be included in our next batch of calls. There are a lot of questions regarding the seed program. So as I mentioned, in the seed, we have the projects and the project ideas should be at an advanced technological readiness level. So to be around TRL6 and more. So there are not any other questions. If you have any additional questions, please go through our RIF support service and submit it either via email, or you may call the support service. And again, go through the documents and the updated FAQ document that will include additional answers to the questions received. I would like to apologize for the technical problem with the video, but this will be available in the presentation. Actually, the Research and Innovation Foundation has a YouTube channel, and you can find very useful videos there, both for the registration, submission procedures, as well as success stories, testimonials from previously funded projects, and so on. So you will have the opportunity to watch the video with testimonials in the presentation, or even go through our YouTube channel. So thanking you again for being here today, and we will be at your disposal for any additional questions, information, and clarifications needed. Thank you very much. Goodbye.